It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. But before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Do not sleep on the sticker shop. That link is also in the description and channel bio. Let's get into this. First of all, CleanSpark here. So CleanSpark, just because it's on the top of my list there, it did not have a great week. It ended up plus 3.39%, which isn't fantastic. We completed this inverted head and shoulders on the weekly right here. This one right here. This shoulder, head, shoulder, and we went all the way back to the top of it. So that is done. That's burnt. We need a new bullish a new bullish pattern to emerge in order to take us higher on CleanSpark again. So that sucks. This is a pretty ugly doji with a really long wick on top. I do not like that particularly. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Now, we could flag like right here. As long as we hold above, let me bring this in. As long as we're holding above, yeah, 1379, I'm not too concerned. But once we dip back below and start opening candles beneath the 200-week moving average again, I think we're going to have a bad time. So hopefully CleanSpark has got this selling out of its system. And with Bitcoin, surging up into the 90,000s here, we can see this thing actually get some life in it. So right now, this kind of sucks. Let me get rid of that. So let's take a look at the momentum here. The momentum's actually not looking too bad. It flattened out on the fast. The slow is green. The average force is going the right direction here. You can see it's getting smaller to the negative side. So actually, I don't hate this move overall in terms of the momentum. The momentum is telling a different story than what we saw here, this massive amount of selling. And actually, I should look through the SEC filings here pretty soon and see if they have any new 144s to see if this could be, if how much they're diluting as a result of that ATM that they've got that they're still sitting on. So we'll have to look at that, get an update on that here pretty soon. But right now, we came up to this trend line here, right? We came up to this trend line here, tapped it, rejected. We rejected bad. Okay, that is a disgusting candle. Actually, that's a really gross candle that we're seeing right there. Similar to this one here from February, which the next week went up. So maybe next week, if we can get up above $15, if we can get up above $15, close a candle up there, open another one above that level, that opens us up to $18 and $20 on CleanSpark. But right now, this inverted head and shoulder, that is a burnt pattern. That is done. It completed that pattern. It went to the top of the range and it failed miserably. So we are now looking for the next bullish setup on CleanSpark on this weekly chart here. Let me look real quickly, see if it's on the daily. Do we have anything good on the daily? You know what? It's not great. It's not bad for the daily here. We got this nice hammer at the bottom of the move here. If on Monday we open up, around 15 or higher and go and drive higher, yeah, that I would be feeling like this is a pullback. Let me look here. I know I don't usually do the dailies on this video, but the way this candle closed, I needed to see. Oh yeah, okay, we hit the 21 and we bounced. I'm a lot less concerned about that weekly candle now. Okay, that puts some of my concerns at ease, seeing that the daily is actually doing a pretty standard 21-day retrace. So that's not actually too bad, as long as we stay above the 200-week moving average going into next week, which is at 1379. So if we hold that 1379 level, I have a lot of hope in the short term. If we don't, I don't have a lot of hope in the short term. Okay, that's basically how that's looking at CleanSpark. CleanSpark warrants still weren't trading. They were closed all week. That is quite unfortunate. I really want to get my hands on some of those things. And hopefully the next time they open, they're not at like $1 or something crazy like that. Let's get over to Bitdigital. Bitdigital actually closed the week down 0.5%. But look at this. It went above the top Bollinger. It went above the ATR band. It went all the way to 575. Almost touched my line up here. If we can get one good week out of this next week, we might come back to touch that line. Like if Bitcoin hits 100K, you better believe that this thing's going to be trading for $6, $7 here pretty quick. Or if Ethereum hits $5,000 or something like that, it's going to be trading up there pretty quick. The momentum on the weekly for Bitdigital is still going the right direction. It's getting larger on the average force. The slow momentum is big, wide open, and green. The fast one you can see there is pink and kind of pointing down a little bit, but it's done this before, which kind of went down and it came right back up, then down, and it could come right back up. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well for Bitdigital. We're not looking too bad. We're sitting on kind of support right now for Bitdigital. You can see we got support in this little grouping here, 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 and then again right there. So we're just sitting on support right now for Btbt, and hopefully that support holds. If it doesn't, we're going to be having a bad time. But I'm watching the 5-week moving average on Btbt to see if that's going to hold it up, which is currently at $3.99. It'll be about $4 next week. As long as that 5-week holds it, we're golden. We're going to keep going, kind of like back here in March 2023, where it's just stood above the 5-day or the 5-week moving average until it had its top moment, and then kind of gave us a bit of what looked like a bull flag that actually broke down. So that's kind of a similar thing we're looking for right now. We're looking for something that's going to stay above the 5 for a while. Same thing here, right? Honestly, this was May 2024. It came up, got above the 5 right there in May 28th. You can see the 5 stayed above it, above it, above it, above it, above it, peaked, did something that looked like it might end up being a bull flag, and then dumped. So we're kind of looking for something like that, right? We're coming off this megaphone here, and we went up. We hold the 5. We could hold the 5, hold the 5, hold the 5, hold the 5, and we could see ourselves driving up into this resistance over here, which we haven't tested in quite a while. So the previous highest test of resistance was right here on this line, this red line that we went above but rejected on. But we get above that, our next level of resistance is really almost all the way up at $10, to be honest, on Btbt once we get moving on this thing. All right, let's move to Bitfarms. Bitfarms actually had a pretty good day. It was up 6.64% on Friday. Over the week, only 0.5%, 0.45% up. So Bitfarms is still closer to its lows than its highs, unlike a lot of its peers. So this one, actually, I'm not too upset about this. It tried to break this trend line. It failed. It came right back to it. You can see here. So if next week we can get off of this trend line, it'll have room back up to about 327 and 390 after that, if it can get above that area there. So let's go ahead and check this out. Yeah. Oh, I want to keep that where it is. Lock that down. All right. So that's what's going on with Bitfarms there. We're looking like this could have looked like a double bottom right there. And, well, as high as that went, I would say that that's probably a burnt pattern. You know, we're looking for the next one. My thoughts here is that the next pattern is this descending trend line here. And we break that on the weekly, we could see ourselves coming back up to 320, 330, maybe even 390 or $4 after that. To the downside, 189. 189 is what I'm looking at on the downside for Bitfarms if it doesn't go up next week. All right, Mara. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara actually had a pretty not terrible week overall. It was up 9.45%. I sold some calls right away on Monday for a big old payday. I've loaded up on more calls today and yesterday. Not today. Yesterday and the day before, Thursday and Friday. And I did that because look at the average force. Average force is curling up, right? Okay. The momentum is going the right way. The slow one is coming out of oversold conditions. The fast one's going sideways right now, but the fast one can quickly revert back to a vertical move. It's really not that hard for it to do. Something like even back here, right, where it came down a tiny. So you can actually see the price action. Came down a tiny bit, hit a support area, and then just launch and just kept going. So I'm not too concerned about the slow or the fast one, excuse me, but the slow one, it gets out of oversold conditions, and whew, man, that thing can fly. What happened here? When it came from oversold conditions right here, that low right there, and to that high right there. And what was it? It was, get this out of the way, 288%. I'm not saying we're going to do that right now, but it was a big move is what I'm trying to say. All right, so we're coming out of oversold conditions. Could we do 200% from here? That would take us to $60, which is not, out of the realm of possibility for Mara. It's done it before. Could do it again. It would be very high valuations for Mara. I would dump that immediately if it got that high that fast. But, that's what we're looking at here. This one had also an inverted head and shoulders pattern that is now burnt. We'll show it right here. Inverted head and shoulders right there. That pattern came to the top. It needs to make a new bullish pattern to continue on upward here. The bullish pattern I'm looking at. So this is what I'm looking at right now, actually. This ascending channel. We were off the bottom of it. We came to the middle of it, rejected. We came almost all the way back to the bottom of it, okay? We came right back down to that 1980, tapped it, and came up just a tiny bit off of that. So we really need to get above 25.90, and then we have room all the way up to $33, $34, again, just inside of this ascending channel we've been in for a while on Mara. Let's take a look at their EMAs and SMAs. So we're above the 200-week simple moving average. The 21 and the 5 EMA are down there.
We went and tapped the upper Bollinger Band, fell from it after tapping it, which is, to be expected. We didn't quite make it to the upper ATR band, which is at 27.44. I think that might be our next stop as long as we stay bullish here. But the bullish pattern I'm kind of looking for is inside of that ascending channel, and I want to see it break this right there. I want to see it break this yellow line. It breaks that yellow line. I'm going to feel pretty confident that this is something of a wedge pattern a little bit. Not the best one I've ever seen, but a little bit of a wedge pattern here. If we could ride the top of this a little bit, maybe come back down to 1980 slow over like 3 weeks, and then boom, launch from there and find ourselves in the 40s and quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that's what I'm looking for on Mara. I want to see it give me my next bullish pattern. I want to see it touch 1980 again, maybe for a few days, and then I want to see it come up and conquer the center of this ascending line, make 27, see 27 in the review mirror, see 30 in the review mirror, and find us maybe touching 40 before the end of this run here. But of course, that all depends on Bitcoin. To the downside, I really don't see it going any lower than like $17 unless we get a really bad flush. Let's take a look at Riot. Riot is actually up. Oh, no, it's down. It's down 3.43%. What a turd. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. So look what it did. Look what it did. Came to the top of my ascending channel here, 15, 16 bucks. Failed kind of miserably. That sucks. However, with the amount of momentum it's been getting, and look at this thing. It's got its mouth wide open to filter feed through all the sellers there, like a big old whale coming from the bottom of the ocean there. For the slow momentum, the fast momentum is taking a break like it's done in the past. It'll do that sometimes on the way up. It'll take a little break, flag for a bit, and then as soon as it turns yellow again, it is on. So actually, I need to reassess my thoughts for Riot here. So in terms of this, I'd be looking for Riot. So now that it's made that high at 1595, as long as it holds above the 200-week moving average, which is currently at 1087, as long as it holds above that, I'd be looking forward to try to make a run for this high back here. Let me go over here. I'd be looking forward to try to make a run for this high back here at $20.70. About right there, $20.70. Put a green line right there. That is what I'm looking for to try to do. Now that it's done this, if it can get back up and above this line here, it has to get back up and above this line. But if it doesn't, I'm looking for it to run 20. If it conquers $20, 25, here we come. If it conquers $20. So keep that in mind. We're watching that for Riot. To the downside, what are we seeing to the downside of Riot? Honestly, if it goes any lower, I would expect it to go to this little box right here between 1162 and about right there, and 882. That would be the next area. I'd be like, it's a buy time. It's time to buy again. So let me get here. This was my little box here. Notice how it came to it and then just launched. Might happen again. It might happen again. Might come back into my box and then boom. Look at this line right here. Yeah, I'm watching this line too pretty carefully. This might be the trend line. It follows up. See, this descending channel is done. This descending channel is still on. We could come back to the middle of it, which would match with this white line here. And as well as my little box here, and then boom, take off. I'd like to see something maybe like that. We'll be watching closely though. You can see the average force is going the right way. The momentum is going the right way. Riot is looking like it's kind of set up. It's going to fall a little bit. It's going to scare you, but I think it's looking like it's not the worst setup ever that I've seen here. It's really not that terrible. Now this inverted head and shoulders, just like on the others, is burnt right here. You got inverted head and shoulders right there. It's an ugly little one, but it's there, and it went even higher than its peers. So maybe that's something foreshadowing the others here going forward. Let's take a look at Iren. Iren broke out of my little triangle there the last 3 weeks. It completely is detached from it this week. I like that a lot, actually. So let me get rid of this, get rid of this. So we came above my line here at 1127. We went as high as $13 on Iren. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. We closed the week minus 2.91%, but we've got room to run still. We've got room all the way up to 1584 there. We have not completely burnt this bullish pattern, this bullish pull back liquidity grab, if you will. And we did our little inverted head and shoulders, right? But we still got another couple of dollars before we get to the top of that pattern. So Iren actually has a little more room to run. Is it going to be a result of these earnings, perhaps, that are coming out November 26th? Is there going to be some sort of other catalyst? Maybe some HPC news, maybe something else, or just Bitcoin going up? I don't know. But average force down here, look, it's going the right way. Okay, we've got momentum. The momentum for the slow only came to the middle and started turning green again. Okay, so we have the slow is looking like it's ready to turn around, but look just back here, is that even at the top? It came to a little dip and then another rip. We could see something like that, or like back here, right? Where it came up, down a little bit, continued back up, down a little bit, up, down a little bit. Like we might see something like that play out here. Or it could just be like this one, where it just went straight up for a while. So we're watching that fast momentum. This fast momentum starts to tick up again. This average force turns yellow. I'm looking for Iren to retest this high here at 1580, maybe even take me to the $18, $19, where I will sell the vast majority, if not all, of my bags for Iren if it touches that soon. So it'll be just like I did with Doge. It hits the level and boom, it's gone. That is what I'm going to do with it. Let's take a look at Corz. How's Corz doing? It is a straight line up and it does not come down. No, it was minus 6.66% this week. A little ominous. We are in this actually really nice tight ascending channel here. Did I turn off all my drawings on this thing? I did. All right, so we're in this really tight ascending channel right now. Look at that. And we tried to break out of it, right? We tried to break out of it, but we came back in. So here's the dark side of Corz. Let me tell you real quick. The downside of Corz is if we get beneath this ascending channel, if we get beneath this thing, we're very likely going to come all the way back to the bottom of it, which is probably, excluding August 5th, is probably about $9.12. Okay, about right there. Maybe $9.06. I would be a buyer there, honestly. I would be a buyer there. If it does that, yeah. If we lose this ascending channel, very likely coming all the way back down to the bottom of this thing. Maybe we'll hit $10 and bounce, but like that's what I'd be looking at. Let's take a look at these. Yeah, okay, so the 21 is down to 1151, so it's riding the 21. Again, that would be the same sort of situation. Like if we lost the 21 EMA, we're coming to the bottom of the move. That's basically how I would be looking at Corz right now. But I mean, it's still doing great. It went as high as $18. Had a little bit of a sell off near the end of the week there, but that's nothing to be too concerned about. Let's run a fib on this bad boy from the August 5th to here, and yeah, we came up. So if we lose that, it would be the 382 if we lost that channel, which would be, we'd come back to the 5, maybe in the 618, and look right here. Okay, this is what I want you to see. If we come back to 906, it would take us all the way back to 0.786 on the fib retracement from the August 5th low to the current high, okay? It would take us all the way back to the 786. That's an institutional buying zone. That's an area where a stock is sufficiently beat down enough for the institutions to start going, I might buy some of that. So this is a level to watch and watch carefully. In fact, I'm going to lock this thing down. This could take a while to get there, but I would not be surprised if we met, what is that, 920, I guess. I'm a little off with my white line there. 920 something. What is it? 921. So let me unlock that. Let me put it right there. Boom. 992. It's close enough. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back to that white line at some point in the future. Not soon necessarily, but some point in the future. I would not be surprised by it. But of course, it would need to lose this ascending channel first. If it stays in that ascending channel, as long as it's in that ascending channel, it's basically kind of safe from doing that. But as soon as it breaks it, I would not be surprised to see it come back to that. Let's take a look at Wulf. Wulf had good earnings. And what happened to Wulf? It went into my little box here. Hey, 933. Look at what we did. That's pretty great, actually. That's not too bad. I'm not actually too concerned about this. It's coming back to support right here from this. Yeah, it's coming back into support from, historical support. If we hold that and hold this trend line here, Wulf drives higher. And we've got the momentum on the average force. Looks great. Looks like it's trying to build a nice little pyramid like it did back here where it did a little run. It's looking like it's doing that, and it's not quite done yet. Could go a little higher. And the momentum here is, while it is up in overbought territory, all it needs to do is see the fast one come down a little bit and then turn right back around to send us all the way back up to like $11, $12 on Wulf. So I don't necessarily see anything to be super concerned about on Wulf quite yet. It is a bit frothy, things to try to pull back, so I wouldn't be like piling into it here, but I'd want to see how it interacts with this ascending trend line here, this red one, which currently next week that trend line would be at $6 and like 3 cents or something. So let's just call it $6 at $6. And I'd like to see if it breaks it, we're coming back down to 5. If it bounces, we're going back up towards 950 on Wulf. So let's move on to Hut. Hut was a profitable miner. They're the only ones posting a profit right now. That's pretty nice. A 1 cent profit, but a profit all the same. It went all the way to the top of this ascending channel here. So now it's probably going to turn around a little bit. I'd like to see it come back, test this white line around $18, but it might just come down to say something like 21 and then bounce. We got to watch it. So average force go in the right direction. Momentum doesn't look like it's slowing down yet. Like look how the slow one is. It's wide open, kind of like that was back here in July, early July, and then it could stay that way for a while. Even as the fast one is tapering off, it can keep driving higher with the slow momentum like that. So we could see this thing inch as high as maybe even $33, $34, and then before it really hits any strong resistance there. Let's take a look at the SMAs and EMAs. So we are still, are we still touching it? Wow. We are still almost touching the top Bollinger Band, and that's the 3X one. So we're way off of everything. The 5 week is all the way down at $19.12. So don't be surprised if we see this turn into something like a cup and handle. Like we got the little scoop, right? Dip and then launch. Don't be surprised if we see something like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see HUT pull back from here unless Bitcoin makes like a new all-time high this weekend and holds it through Monday. If it's still holding that on Monday, I would expect it to go higher. If it is not, then I would expect HUT to either flag or move slightly down. Let's take a look at Cifr. How's Cifr doing? Cifr got to the top of its channel as well. It's ascending channel and then dropped right back into it. But look at how it touched this green line. I have not moved any of these. I've not moved any of these lines. This is beautiful. It came right to the penny, and it's bouncing off of it. So we burnt this inverted head and shoulders right here. Look at this. This is a burnt inverted head and shoulders right there. It is done. It has been all the way used up. Now we're looking for something like maybe a flag right here and then a breakout to go up to $10. But as long as it holds this green line, which is currently at what, 623, as long as it holds that, I'm pretty hopeful that Cifr could make a move up to almost $10 before the end of the year. Average force is still looking good. The slow momentum is looking great. The fast momentum is going to be what gives us that bull flag. And I'll show you what that looks like in the past here. Let's find one. There we go. There's one. This is a perfect example. You see how this came up, right? The fast came up, so it came up. Right, then we got a bull flag right there. Then it came up and then it went down a little bit, gave us a bull flag right there. And then it drove up that final time and then did not give us, it gave us little tiny ones, like a little tiny bull flag there, a little tiny bull flag there. But then after that final one, yeah, it just kind of sold off. And that was actually more of like an Elliott wave too. If you want to draw that out, let's see here. So it's wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you got an Elliott wave. They come in fives, groups of fives. Looking something like that. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, taking this all the way to the end. And that's when it was done. And then it came all the way back down to support from there. So that's another one to put in your toolbox. The Elliott wave pattern. You see, 5 legs in a move. It's probably going to come back to support afterwards. So keep that in mind. It doesn't always, but you can probably bet that it might. And that's what we're looking at for Cifr right now. So I'm looking for a bull flag because there really hasn't been any bull flags yet. And this wouldn't still kind of be on the first leg, to be honest. So I'd like to see a bit of a bull flag, maybe come back down to like 650, maybe even 620, and then takes up to like $10 for Cifr. That's what I'm looking for. So the downside, yeah, I'd be looking at like 650, maybe even 574 for the downside on Cifr. Upside, I'm looking at this orange line up here at 984 right now. Hive, what's happening with Hive? Hive failed after it met this descending trend line here. So it failed there. I'm not super surprised by that. I'm kind of surprised it made a new high, a new local high finally. That took forever. So happy that happened. But now it's got to conquer this line here. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in it. But it is actually, the momentums here are looking good. So if we get a bull flag out of the fast one, right, it turns pink for a little while and then yellow again while average force stays strong. I would expect it to break that and get above the $6 level and then make a run for 685, maybe even 760 on Hive here if we can get a bull flag out of this move here. But look what we're doing here. Look at this. Came up high, down, high, came down. We're coming to the end of this down move here, just like back here. And when was that? That was Q4 2020, which was the kickoff of the bull run, by the way, is when it finally came out of that hole there, which guess where we are right now? We are at the Q4 of the halving year, which is the kickoff of the bull run. So don't be surprised if we see these things suddenly just fly much higher than we thought they could. Don't be surprised. Let's take a look here. Same thing with Soluna. What's going on the weekly for Soluna? Let's see here. It looks bad. It's plus 2.21%. We're back down to my little buy zone there. I haven't bought any more. Okay, actually, I don't hate this. So average force is staying mostly flat. Okay, it's staying mostly flat. It needs a catalyst, but look at the momentum ribbons. Okay, the yellow on green. Now that green is real wispy. But if that green starts to open up a little bit, like we see how it started out wispy back here too, and then suddenly in 1 week it just went boom, caught fire and went up. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for right now. But this time it's not in oversold conditions. It's somewhere around the middle. It's somewhere around what, like 29, and it could get as high as like 60, or even like when it's really hot, it can go in overbought conditions. And so last time I did that, let's see how much did it move last time it went from oversold to overbought conditions. That was back in when? Oh, Q4 2020, which was the end of the year of the last halving year. And it went, what have I done? What did I do? Hold on. There we go. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, let me just do this and that. Okay. Look what happened. I'm not saying this is going to happen again like this per se, but like, right, it was in oversold conditions, and that went into December. Actually, that started happening in April 2020. Came out of its oversold conditions and then just kept going higher and higher and higher and higher. And then December 2020, which is basically the period that we're in right now, it did a run from 370 up to $163. What? Oh, $34.70 to $163, 379%. So if we did 379% just this next month, where would that take us? What would that do for us? Let's take a look. 379. If we did that from here where we are, 379, that would take us to, boom, this level of support right here. Look back here, right where that gap is. Take us right to that gap at about $17. That's pretty cool. Do I think that's going to happen on Soluna? I have no idea. Soluna is a lotto play. I don't know what this thing's going to do. It could go to zero for all I know. It's a little too crazy for me personally. But that is the wrap up of the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio along with the sticker shop link, and have a profitable day.